Here comes the field for tonight's first race as they pray to the post behind Parade Marshal and Outrider Kathy McDonald. Number 1, Easy Livin', owned by Fred Schroeder and Donnie Conrad, driven by Charlie Conrad. 2, Raven Elmer, owned by Walter Kaplinger and David Miller. Number 3, Flaming Rocky, owned by Wilson Witten and Regina Willinger with Danny Collins. 4, Wakeshire Wish, owned by Roger Wheeler. Dave Hawk will be aboard. Number 5, He's a Diehard, owned by Marmick Incorporated and John McLean with Dean Collins. 6, FAYE'S, Sam Spade, owned by Nancy and William Meyer with Mike Wilder. 7 is Fortune Quest, owned by David Ehrenberg with Charlie Neff. 8, Lakewater Bird, owned and driven by Eldon Spearman. Field for the opener, 5 minutes till post time. Field for race 1 at the gate and moving through the turn. Field is now in motion, and there they go. They're off and pacing, got a couple breakers. The 4 is on the run, Wakeshire Wish, and the 5 was off stride before the start. He's a Diehard and away very slow from the back, Lakewater Bird. They're down the backstretch. Fortune Quest rolls to the front. Here's Flaming Rocky up on the outside and Raven Elmer along the rail, followed by Easy Livin'. First time starter FAYE'S, Sam Spade, settles down nicely. Here comes one of the breakers back into contention, Lakewater Bird. Wakeshire Wish also catches the others, and far back is He's a Diehard, opening up here in 29-2. In parade past the stands, Flaming Rocky on the outside. Fortune Quest along the rail, matching strides for the lead. Salivating in third and licking his chops off this journey, Raven Elmer. Easy Living, here comes FAYE'S, Sam Spade to the outside. He'll try to get the jump on the favorite around the clubhouse turn to the half-mile pole. We're back on the front end. Fortune Quest leads the way. Right alongside in second, Flaming Rocky. Waiting for the passing lane now, Raven Elmer driving up on the outside, FAYE'S, Sam Spade. After that comes the 1, Easy Livin', far outside, Lakewater Bird, Wakeshire Wish, and He's a Diehard. Who is this John McLean anyway? They're at the half in a minute and 3/5. They're down the backstretch. FAYE'S, Sam Spade on the far outside, Fortune Quest along the rail, followed by Raven Elmer into third around the far turn. Under confident handling, FAYE'S, Sam Spade on the outside of Fortune Quest in 1:30-4. Around the far turn to the top of the stretch. Fortune Quest on top by a head. FAYE'S, Sam Spade still attacking on the outside. Nearest the rail, Raven Elmer. Here comes the long shot, Easy Living up on the far outside. FAYE'S, Sam Spade, Fortune Quest. Here's Easy Living and Raven Elmer along the rail. Easy Living on the far outside now gets the lead. One, Easy Living, the unofficial winner. 2, Raven Elmer was second. Photograph for show position. Seven, Fortune Quest was third, and 6, FAYE'S, Sam Spade was fourth. In the winner's circle is number 1, Easy Living, a 2-year-old bay colt by Lifesign out of Ardith, Hanover, owned by Fred Schroeder and Donnie Conrad of Evansville and Corydon, Indiana, trained by Miss Julie Russell, driven tonight by Charlie Conrad. To cover the mile here in 2 minutes and 3/5. Number 1, Easy Living, the winner of tonight's first race. The 1-2 exacta, $149.80. The try, 1,020.60, 1,020.60. Windows are now open on tonight's second race. Field of 10, no changes in tonight's second race. Post time upcoming at 7:56. Here comes the field for tonight's second race as they pray to the post, welcoming the Cargill Hybrid Seed Company Group. Tonight would also like to welcome Gahanna Lincoln English Faculty Department and Montana Cowgirls, Victoria and Kathleen. Here comes the field for race 2, 1, Fine Crystal, owned by Steve McCoy, Robert Worth, Thomas Ridgely, Brett Merkle drives. 2, Spry Miss, owned by LMN Bread with Mitchell Null. 3, Shiv, owned by Tom Blankenship and Ralph Sturr Jr. with David Miller. 4, Super Bones, owned by Roy Mac Davis and Dave Hawk. 5, Central Perk, owned by Harry and Iris Horowitz with Debbie Rucker. 6, Bone Road, owned by Bill Ferris, Inland Bike Del S. Miller. 7, The Lucky Meister, owned by James McDowell with Jack Daly. 8, Mr. Snowshoes, owned by Peter and Gail McCann with David Myers. Number 9, Velvet's Message, owned by Dick Neff and David Ehrenberg with Charlie Neff. And there's the 10, Gray Frost, owned by Walter Stammen. Brad Hanners will be in the sulky. Trotters for the second, 6 minutes till post. Field is at the gate and moving through the turn. And there they go. They're off and trotting. Spry Miss away very slow. For the lead, Shiv between horses. Fine Crystal away nicely to second. Here's Super Bones in the center. Central Perk 3 wide of the far outside to fourth. Out of the second tier, Gray Frost. Here's the 2, Spry Miss. Taking a seat, Bone Road. After that, it's the Lucky Meister, followed by Mr. Snowshoes and Velvet's Message. Field of 10 on gate to the quarter-mile pole, and Shiv has got the top. Here comes Fine Crystal to the outside, moving by the opening quarter, 30 seconds flat. Fine Crystal on the outside, brushes to the front. Fine Crystal trots clear by 2. Shiv, the early trot setter, shuffle back to second, followed by Gray Frost out of the second tier to third. Super Bones along mile fourth. Spry Miss is fifth. Around the clubhouse turn, that's Bone Road. Up on the outside, Central Perk. Lucky Meister, Mr. Snowshoes, and Velvet's Message. They're at the half-mile pole. Bouncing right along, it's Fine Crystal. She's gobbling up ground. They're at the halfway point in 1 minute and 4/5. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Fine Crystal leads the way. Shiv, the stalker, in second, the attacker on the outside. Spry Miss to third. Down the backstretch, Gray Frost is fourth. Bone Road circles up on the outside, followed by Super Bones. Parked every step, Central Perk. Nowhere to go, Lucky Meister. Mr. Snowshoes remains ninth. The trailer is still Velvet's Message, but it's Fine Crystal bouncing right along in 1:31 and 2. Trotting around the far turn. Fine Crystal leads the way. Spry Miss on the outside, a closer second. Shiv is into third. Bone Road looking for the passing lane. Gray Frost, we're down to these 5. Straightening away. Lines are taut on Fine Crystal. Shiv, here's Gray Frost wending his way through heavy traffic, and the Red Sea just parted for him. It's Fine Crystal. Shiv second. Gray Frost will finish third. Here's Fine Crystal, 4-year-old bay mare by final score out of McChrystal. Owned by Steve McCoy, Robert Worth, and Tom Ridgely of Columbus. Trained by Sandy Beatty. Driven tonight by Brett Merkle to a heady performance in 2:01 and 4 and a lifetime best. Number 1, Fine Crystal, the winner of tonight's second race. The 1-3 exact, the returning $13.60. The try, $44.80. The try, $44.80. And the 1-1 daily double, $68.20. The double, $68.20. Windows are now open on race 3, welcoming the Gahanna Lincoln English Faculty Department. Field of 10 and superfecta wagering. Post time in 14 minutes at 8:15. Comes the field for the third trophy by Gahanna Lincoln English Faculty Department. Number 1, Wildcat Will, owned by Jane Farian. Bob Harper drives. 2, Cool Ambition, owned by Robert McCurdy and Craig Parker with Dave Hawk. 3, Truthful Dog, owned by Ray Curtis and Charles Mitchell, and the reinsman is Scott Mogan. 4, Nuclear Day, owned by Jim Sparks, Del S. Miller. 5, Close the Door, owned by Mr. and Mrs. Gene Regal with Mike Wilder. 6, Mont Royal, owned by Dennis Poe and Claude Kirkpatrick with Jack Daly. 7 is Noble Mountaineer, owned by Neil Long, Alvin Long, and David Ogan Jr. with David Miller. 8 is Jaguar Design, owned and driven by Danny Collins. 9, Cowboy Up, owned by Richard Brake, David Myers. 10, Ricky's Flow and Dally, owned by Mark and Ricky Williams. Brad Hanners will be in the sulky. Field for the third, 6 minutes till post. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Cool Ambition takes the lead. Wildcat Will along the rail. Quickly out of the second tier, Ricky's Flow and Alley. Late lever the far outside. Jaguar Design and Truthful Doug moves in to be fifth. With a rush on the outside, Cowboy Up drives the sixth, and we're off to the rodeo in here. Nuclear Day closed the door. Noble Mountaineer, and at the end it's Long Shot Mont Royal. And there he had a pretty good clip here to the quarter mile pole, and Ricky's Flow and Alley's coming early. He'll be up to challenge Wildcat Will in a good 28 and 2. Ricky's Flow and Alley brushes to the front on the outside. Wildcat Will starts it in pretty good second. Cool Ambition moves in to be third. Around the clubhouse turn, Jaguar Design fourth. Truthful Doug is next. A little bit rough further back in the field, and jumping off stride, that's Cowboy Up. The 9 is on a break as they move through the clubhouse turn. We're back on the front end, and Ricky's Flow and Alley zings them by the half in 58. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Ricky's Flow and Alley a length and a half from Wildcat Will, followed by Cool Ambition in third. Ranging up on the outside, Truthful Doug to fourth. After that, the early lever Jaguar Design, who also tips and rolls. Up the rail, Nuclear Day. Between horses, close the door. Between them comes Noble Mountaineer. After that, Mount Royal. And the trailer back down, pacing Cowboy Up. Racing by 3/4 in 1:29. Around the far turn, Ricky's Flow and Alley will have to be good from here. Here's Truthful Doug at his wheel disc in second. Wildcat Will, not wanting the passing lane, angles off the rail, moves to the far outside. They're into the stretch. Ricky's Flow and Alley is under an all-out siege. Truthful Doug draws alongside. Cool Ambition closing toward the pylons. Truthful Doug now gets the lead. Ricky's Flow and Alley second. Cool Ambition third. 1, Wildcat Will was fourth. Truthful Doug, a 3-year-old bay gelding by Proud Truth out of Freshest Spring. Owned by Ray Curtis and Charles Mitchell of Delaware, trained by Ray Curtis. Hard driven tonight by Scott Mogan to a lifetime best of 158 and 3. Number 3, Truthful Doug, the winner, welcoming tonight the group from Gahanna Lincoln English Faculty Department. 310 exacta returning $86.20. The Super 536.20. Windows are now up and on tonight's fourth race. Start of the early pick 3. No changes in tonight's early pick 3. Sponsored by Steeplechase Village and Luxury Family Rentals. Post time at 8:35. Door 8th, Mount Royal 9th. Noble Mountaineer 7th, Jaguar Design 8th, Cowboy Up 10th. Here comes the field for tonight's fourth race as series event number 14 continues through leg 5. Number 1, Gray and Scarlet, owned by Daryl Sherman. Dave Hawk drives. Number 2 is Art Dialing, owned by Mitchell, George, and Sanford Barron with David Miller. 3, Winner Sabra, owned by Dean Collins, Michael Parrish, Wallace Collins. The rangeman is Dean Collins. Number 4, Cod Fayel, owned by Jim Borchers with Bill Walters aboard. 5, CL Scooter, owned by National Trail with Dan Ader. 6, Life Work, owned by Touch of Life Stable and Aerial Unlimited with Ryan Holton. 7, Gambler's Lair, owned by Chris Fout, brings them out, and Mike Water will drive this colt from post 7. 5 minutes till post. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Life Work, far outside. CL Scooter, here's the newcomer. Gray and Scarlet there down the backstretch as the 3 Winner Sabra has jumped off stride. Gray and Scarlet is being sent hard tonight by David Hawk. CL Scooter moves in to be second, going to be a long mile for Life Work from third. Art Dialing settles in fourth. After that, Cod Fayel, gap of 3. Gambler's Lair and Winner Sabra rolling by the opening quarter in 28-1. 2 wide past the stands to the half. Life Work on the outside, brushes to the front. Gray and Scarlet content now for the deuce. Art Dialing drives up on the outside with a rush to get the lead. Art Dialing well out in the middle of the racetrack takes over, followed by Life Work under urging to second. Around the clubhouse, turn the early pace setter, Gray and Scarlet to third. A gap of 4, CL Scooter. After that, Cod Fayel, Gambler's Lair, and Winner Sabra. Pacing by the half in a smart 57-3. They're down the backstretch. Art Dialing continues to show his heels to the field. Here's Gray and Scarlet coming again. Up the backstretch, Life Work moves in to be third. They're off the 5/8, and there goes the Gray Ghost with a rush. Gray and Scarlet on the outside. Pacing back in the rail, Art Dialing. As they race by 3/4, Gray and Scarlet on the outside, but yet to clear in 1:26-3. Getting serious now around the far turn. Art Dialing back on top by a nose. Gray and Scarlet alongside second. Doing his best in third, Life Work. Cod Fayel is up on the far outside. We got a dandy going here. From the outside, it's Gray and Scarlet. Life Work is fighting back. In between horses, Art Dialing. CL Scooter, here comes Gambler's Lair, wide open, Life Work gets there. Six-four exact at 157.40. In the winner's circle is Life Work. 2-year-old Bay Colt by Lifestyle out of Avies Irish Rose, owned with a Touch of Life stable of Ridgewood. Airline Limited of Columbus, trained by the Pride of Newark, Ohio. Terry Holton, driven tonight by Ryan Holton to a lifetime best 156-2. 6 Life Work, the winner of tonight's 4th race. Windows open on the 5th, 7,700 in the carryover. Nice carryover in the twin try. Here's a field for the 5th midway point, welcoming the Montana Cowgirls, Victoria and Kathleen, for a trophy presentation. Here's the field led by the 1 Perfect du Jour, owned by Roy Mac Davis. David Hawk drives. 2 Speedy Wilma, owned by Rita Studzinski, and the driver is Jack Daly. 3 Coming Success, owned by Dennis Shaner, Larry Shaner, Rainsman, Del S. Miller. 4 BJ Hustle, owned by Sue Stetson with Richard Flanders. 5 She's a Royal Fitch, owned and driven by Roy Wilson. 6 Dusty Gill, owned by Iris Horowitz and Debbie Rucker. 7 Independence, owned by Phyllis Dill with Brett Merkle. Number 8 Signed Original, owned by Harold McCain and Mike Wilder. 9 Best Quality, owned by George Elber with David Miller. And number 10 Self-Imposed, owned and driven by Al Gobble. That is the field for tonight's 5th race, and a nice twin trifecta carryover of over $7,700. For race 5 is at the gate. Field 4, race 5 is moving through the clubhouse turn. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and trotting. Perfect Du Jour takes the lead. She's a Royal Fitch closing down the middle of the racetrack. Followed out by Speedy Wilma to third. Coming Success parked and driving fourth out of the second tier. Self-Imposed to fifth. As they move to the quarter-mile pole, BJ Hustle after that, Independence. Next in line comes Dusty Gill. Signed Original. Best Quality is 10th on the outside. As they trot to the opening quarter-mile pole, here comes Grandpa on the outside, 13-year-old Perfect Du Jour, circling to command in 29-1. Racing past the stands to the half-mile pole, action continues in here. Perfect Du Jour, short-lived lead. Coming Success rolls to command on the outside. She's a Royal Fitch into third, Speedy Wilma fourth, followed by Self-Imposed, who comes to the outside fifth as they make their way through the clubhouse turn. The roan also tips off the rail. BJ Hustle as they move to the half-mile pole. Next in line comes Independence. Eighth on the outside, Dusty Gill. Signed Original is ninth. Best Quality, the tailgate. They're at the half in 59. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Bouncing right along, Perfect Du Jour. Coming Success, Game in the Rim second. She's a Royal Fitch stalking in third after that. Self-Imposed live cover to fourth. Speedy Wilma in fifth. Late kick on the outside, Dusty Gill, BJ Hustle in between horses. After that comes Signed Original, Independence up on the outside. Best Quality was off stride in 129-3. Jam-packed for action in the fifth. They move to the head of the stretch. Perfect Du Jour brings them on home. Self-Imposed closing a ton on the outside. They're into the stretch. Dave Hawk draws the sword. It may not be good enough. Al Gobble rolls to command, but he's not home free yet. She's a Royal Fitch on the outside and Self-Imposed. Deep stretch. She's a Royal Fitch getting up. Here comes She's a Royal Fitch, a 5-year-old bay mare by Ann Fitch out of Eddie P. Star. Owned, rated, and trained by Lebanon's Roy Wilson. Covering the mile here in a lifetime best 2 minutes and a fifth. Number 5, She's a Royal Fitch to meet and greet Victoria and Kathleen. Bottom of the mile, 2 minutes and a fifth. Here comes the field for tonight's sixth race as they pray to the post. 2-year-olds in action again here. Sponsored by Steeplechase Village. Number 1 is Color Me Best. Owned by James and Marjorie Hoffler with Eric Ledford. 2, Lifetime Yankee, owned by the Brittany Farm with Mike Wilder. 3, Cam Handsome Fellow, owned by Richard Garrison with Dan Ader. 4, Tank Sabra, owned by Ellen and Mike Havens. Brad Hanners will be aboard. Number 5, Western Dance, owned by Jim Hackett with David Myers. 6, Dragon Again, owned by Ed Mullinex with Kelly O'Donnell. And number 8, Set the Agenda, owned by Ben Eggers, James E., and James Morris. David Miller will be in the sulky. 7 2-year-olds, the face starter John Betts with 6 minutes till post time. Field 4, race 6 at the gate and moving through the clubhouse turn. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Western Dance on the far outside takes the lead even further out. There goes Set the Agenda. As they move for the first turn, here's Tank Sabra and Cam Handsome Fella. Color Me Best away a bit tardy. Up on the outside, Dragon Again and Lifetime Yankee. Making a standstill break, that was the 4, Tank Sabra. Quickly out on top by about 8 lengths, it's Set the Agenda. Set the Agenda leads the way by a good margin by the opening quarter in a quick 27-2. Flying past the stand to the half-mile pole. The 4 who made the break has been pulled up by driver Brad Hanners. Tank Sabra is out of this one. Here comes Color Me Best with a rush on the outside to brush to the front. Color Me Best on the outside of Set the Agenda. Cam Handsome Fella moves in to be third. Around the clubhouse turn into fourth. Western Dance as they hit the half-mile pole. Next in line, Dragon Again, Lifetime Yankee. We're down to the 6 and 58. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Color Me Best on top. Set the Agenda, now the stalker in second. Cam Handsome Fella skimming the pylons in third. Western Dance trying to become the real thing. Moving up on the outside, Dragon Again and Lifetime Yankee as they get a bit of a respite here during this middle half. Color Me Best on top, but here comes the wave on the outside. 3 horses now tip and roll to the far outside. Color Me Best, though, still has 3/4 tucked under his belt in 128-2. Driving around the far turn. Color Me Best, Set the Agenda right alongside. Big gap now to Dragon Again, who's got a lot of work to do as they straighten away. Color Me Best brings them on home. Set the Agenda alongside. Dragon Again closing too little, too late in between horses. Western Dance. It's Set the Agenda. Color Me Best second. Western Dance will finish third. Ohio, trained by Ben Eggers. Given a hard drive tonight by David Miller to a lifetime best of 156-3. Number 7, Set the Agenda, the winner of tonight's 6th race. Pick 3, 16-69-20. Here comes the field for tonight's 7th race as they pray to the post. Twin Trifecta Exchange. There's also a regular exactin trifecta in here, 1 Humming Strings. Owned by John Rogers and Mike Stearns with Rocky Stidham. 2, LOOK-CINJA, owned by Jack Swagler and Arthur Apking with driver Kevin Brown. 3, Moving On Up, owned by Terry Kraft and driver Greg Luther. 4, Carousel Rhythm, owned by George and Robert Young Jr. with David Miller. Number 5, Sissy's Girl, owned by Mark McLean Sr. with Brett Merkle. 6, Manhattan Madam, owned by Ray Belt with Bob Harper. 7 is Red Romaine, owned by David Knoll and Dave Hawk. 8, Music City Jesse, owned by B.L. Conway and Mark Evers. Number 9, Highland Tranquil, owned by Rose Adams with Dan Ader. 10, More Cheers, owned by Richard and Doug Ryan. Doug Ryan will be in the sulky. That's the field for tonight's 7th race. Post time in 6 minutes. Field's moving through the paddock turn. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Plenty of levers in here. Highland Tranquil on the far outside gets the first call. Music City Jesse is alongside of her. Even further out comes Red Romaine as they move to the top turn with Manhattan Madam, tucking in nicely to fourth. Pretty good clip here to the quarter-mile pole. After that comes LOOK-CINJA, followed up on the outside by Carousel Rhythm and Humming Strings. Out of the second tier, More Cheers, gap of 2, moving on up. And Sissy's Girl, the tailgate, 27 flat, they're flying. Fillies and mares in parade past the stands, and Music City Jesse leads the way. Punishing trip for Red Romaine. The pocket belongs to Highland Tranquil. After that comes Manhattan Meadow. Around the clubhouse turn, LOOK-CINJA. Moving up on the outside, live cover, Carousel Rhythm. As she leads us, merry-go-round from the outside. Driving up on the far outside, more cheers. Here's Humming String, she's buried. After that, moving on up is 9th, 10th, and last, Sissy's Girl. Outer tier quickly forms in 56 and 4. LOOK-CINJA driving up on the outside in Carousel Rhythm. Ready to chase down Music City Jesse. LOOK-CINJA drives away. Giving way grudgingly, Music City Jesse. Here's Carousel Rhythm. Moving up on the far outside, more cheers. Back on the attack, Manhattan Meadow. As they now side wheel by 3/4. LOOK-CINJA by a head. Right alongside in second. Carousel Rhythm in 128. Field drives around the far turn. Carousel Rhythm forges to the front. Out from between horses, Manhattan Meadow. Fighting back, LOOK-CINJA. 10 moves to the far outside, more cheers. David Miller, though, begins the draw clear on the choice. Carousel Rhythm. Manhattan Meadow. The danger is in between horses. Everybody else is jammed up in behind. It's Carousel Rhythm. Tight for second, the 6. Manhattan Meadow over 2, LOOK-CINJA. Here's the unofficial winner, number 4, Carousel Rhythm. 3-year-old bay filly by Abercrombie out of Gusty Music. Owned by George Young Jr. and Robert Young of Bridgeport. Trained by Robert G. Young. Driven tonight by David Miller to cover the mile in 1:59 and 3 and establish a lifetime best. Number 4, Carousel Rhythm, the unofficial winner of the 7th race. Over 94.68, and the trifecta 577.6. Here comes the field for tonight's 8th race as they parade behind Kathy McDonald, number 1, Christmas Quigley. Owned by Gerald Woodard, driven by Brad Hanners. 2, Rembrandt's Jeff, owned by Jim Chaliff and David Harris with Mike Wilder. 3 is Shockham Norm, owned by Richard Alexander, and the driver is Bob Harper. Number 4, Velvet Siren, owned by the Triple Bogey Stable with Del S. Miller. 5, Delusion of Grandeur, owned by Gerald, Diana, and Jeff Cimini, along with Robert Salzberger, Terry R. Thomas in the bike. 6, High Buck, owned by Clarence DeLong and Dave Hawk. 7, Payne Road Scooter, owned by Mary Dillon with Jack Daly. 8, BJ Deere, owned by John Wiley. David Miller will be in the sulky. Field freight, they'll reach the gate in less than 6 minutes. Field freight is at the gate and moving through the clubhouse turn. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Rembrandt's Jeff takes the lead. BJ Deere with a rush on the far outside. Christmas Quigley on the rail, followed by Shockham Norm. Velvet Siren will come from off the pace tonight. Delusion of Grandeur. High Buck is in the center, and Payne Road Scooter the tailgate. 8-hole, no problem for BJ Deere. He darts to command, leads by about 2. Driving away on top, it's BJ Deere comfortably. Racing second, Rembrandt's Jeff and Christmas Quigley and Shockham Norm. Opening up here, 28 and 3. In parade, past the stands, BJ Deere by an antler and a half. BJ Deere bouncing right along. On his heels in second, Rembrandt's Jeff. Christmas Quigley is third. Shockham Norm to the outside, and Velvet Siren set sail from the rail. Underway, Delusion of Grandeur, High Buck, Payne Road Scooter as they pick it up now. At the half-mile pole, BJ Deere will try to make every pole a winning one. Here comes the train on the outside, led by Shockham Norm. They're at the half in 59-1 up the backstretch. BJ Deere continues to bounce right along. BJ Deere on top, a length and a half. Rembrandt's Jeff is second by a head. Shockham Norm parked and driving third. Far outside, Velvet Siren Overland to fourth. Christmas Quigley back on the attack. Far outside, Delusion of Grandeur, sixth, High Buck, seventh, Payne Road Scooter. Dave Miller, those got him geared down in 128-2. Around the far turn, B.J. Deere Jiggy Joggin has got the top. Rembrandt's Jeff is the main danger right now. Velvet Siren can't go on. Here's Christmas Quigley. Looks like a two-horse race to the wire. B.J. Deere is now under the high line. Right alongside in second, Rembrandt's Jeff. Rembrandt's Jeff on the outside now gets the lead. B.J. Deere coming back. Rembrandt's Jeff. Whoa, real tight, very close. Here comes the unofficial winner. Number 2, Rembrandt's Jeff. 4-year-old brown son of Anxious Robbie out of Kitchenette. Owned and bred in Illinois by Jim Chaloff and David Harris. Trained by Rick Heitman, a.k.a. Jim Florio. Driven tonight by Mike Wilder, covering that mile here in 157-4. Number 2, Rembrandt's Jeff, the winner of tonight's 8th race. 2-8 exact of $54.40, $54.40 your fight. The try, $579.60. The try, $579.60. Windows are now up and on race 9. Post time 10:19. No changes in the 9th. 10th race, Eric Ledford to drive number 4, Ms. Scooter. Here comes the field for tonight's 9th race. Exacta trifecta, middle leg of the final pick 3 in a field of 6. Number 1 is Rembrandt's Max, owned by Jim Chaloff and David Harris. They bid for 2 in a row now with Mike Wilder. 2 is Robo Express, owned by Robert Short and Ron Hughes, driven by Eric Ledford. 3, Adonijah, owned by Molly Farmer and Joanne Armbruster, and the driver is Scott Mogan. 4 is Tucson L, owned by the Our Little Stable. Alvin and Neil Long. Brad Hanners will be aboard. 5 is Sam Sir Knight, leased by Jim Arledge with Del S. Miller, and 6, Gotta Go Johnny, owned by Charles Johnson. Jack Morgan will be in the sulky. Field for 9. They'll reach the gate in less than 6 minutes. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Sam Sir Knight on the far outside. Tucson L between horses. Adonijah on the rail. They're down the backstretch. Rembrandt's Max with Robo Express and wide to the outside. Gotta Go Johnny. They're already in 2 teams as they move midway on the turn. From the outside, Tucson L brushes to the front. Adonijah right there in second. Rembrandt's Max into third. Off the pace, Sam Sir Knight, Robo Express, and Gotta Go Johnny. 27-3 with the win now past the stands to the half-mile pole. Tucson L bouncing along an easy length and a half as the 2-5 favorite. Tucson L leads the way, Adonijah second, followed by Rembrandt's Max in third. Here's Robo Express with a rush. Sam Sir Knight, who tried to lead quickly, shuffle back fifth. Gotta Go Johnny, living up to his name, comes from the back of the pack. Around the clubhouse turn to the half-mile pole. Racing right along on top, it's Tucson L. They're at the half. 58-2, they're out of the turn and down to the backstretch. Tucson L continues to lead the way. Tucson's there, 3 parts of a length. Robo Express drives uncovered second, followed by the pocket sitter, Adonijah third. Rembrandt's Max in fourth. Gotta Go Johnny. Stalled a bit on the outside, fifth, and Sam Sir Knight will have to come from the back of the pack. The pack right now of 6 makes their way to 3/4. Tucson L by a length. Right alongside in second, Robo Express, pacing by 3/4 in 1:28.3. Around the far turn, Tucson L by a head. Here's Robo Express still attacking on the outside second. Gotta Go Johnny coming 3 wide for the drive. Waiting for the passing lane, the Prophet Adonijah. On the far outside, Sam Sir Knight, and along the rail, Rembrandt's Max. Here's Robo Express to get the lead. Gotta Go Johnny is up on the far outside with Sam Sir Knight. Robo Express gets there. Official winner of race number 9, 2 Robo Express. 3-year-old bay gelding by Nuclear Siren out of Keena's Style. Owned by Robert Short and Ron Hughes of New Carlisle and Tip City. Trained by Selden Ledford. Driven tonight by Eric Ledford. Covering the mile in 1:57.4. Number 2 Robo Express, the unofficial winner of the 9th. When the windows open up on the 10th, Eric Ledford will drive 4 Ms. Scooter. Result of the 10th now official. Superfecta wagering in tonight's 10th and final race. Post time upcoming. 2.5 exacta, 3:90.80. The try 9:04.40. 9:04.40. Comes a field for tonight's 10th and final race. Superfecta wagering as a parade behind Kathy McDonald. Number 1, Pat's Nicole, owned by Sue Stetson. Richard Flanders drives. Number 2 is Rembrandt's Jessica, owned by Jim Chaliff and Michael Van Autry with Del S. Miller. 3, Myoka, owned by Bob Griffith with Jack Morgan. 4, Ms. Scooter, owned by Patty Joe Smith, and a driver change to Eric Ledford. 5, Coaching Tina, owned by Greg, Kate, Newt, Jenny, Sean, Ellie, and grounded Scott Thomas in the bike Dave Hawk. 6, Critical Success, owned by Kerry Costa and Mitchell Jaffe with Mike Wilder. 7 is Midnight Fame, owned by Stan Malott with Brad Hanner's 8-Hour Liking. Owned by Larry Morgan, David Miller will be in the sulky. Field for the 10th, post time in 6 minutes. Final race pacers are at the gate and moving through the clubhouse turn. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Midnight Fame and Our Liking, both on the far outside. As they race down the backstretch, moving out from between horses, Myoka is into 3rd. Here's Coaching Tina to 4th and Rembrandt's Jessica 5th. Pat's Nicole. After that, Ms. Scooter, and the trailer is the Gray. Critical Success. Seating arrangements are complete as they drive into the quarter-mile pole. Moving away on top, Midnight Fame, Our Liking right there in 2nd, followed by Myoka and Coaching Tina in 28.3. Moving past the stands to the half-mile pole. Midnight Fame bouncing along with a 2-length advantage. Our Liking 2nd, Myoka is 3rd, Coaching Tina 4th. Rembrandt's Jessica now comes to the outside. Critical Success sets sail. The rail mare gets shuffled further back. Pat's Nicole, and the tailgate is Ms. Scooter. Around the clubhouse turn of the half-mile pole. Brad Hanners has Midnight Fame in control in 59.1. Out of the turn and down the backstretch. Midnight Fame continues to show her heels to the field. Rembrandt's Jessica is up on the outside 2nd. Nowhere to go for the 8-horse, Our Liking to 3rd. The Roan is up on the outside, Critical Success. Followed by Myoka, Coaching Tina, Pat's Nicole, and Ms. Scooter can't go on. Racing to 3/4. Midnight Fame a length. Our Liking, Rembrandt's Jessica parked on the outside but stalling a bit. Critical Success 3 horses wide. Myoka is under the whip. Coaching Tina with some work to do. Pat's Nicole was 7th. The trailer remains Ms. Scooter in 129. Field straightens away. Midnight Fame brings him home. Midnight Fame on top. Our Liking comes off the rail, sets sail for command. Our Liking on the outside now gets the lead. It's Our Liking. Midnight Fame, Critical Success, and Rembrandt's Jessica maybe up 4th. Merger out of 2-year Liking, owned and trained in Russell's Point, Ohio by Larry Morgan. Given the Blue Perfect drive by David Miller to cover the mile in 1:58 and 2 and give David Miller a triple on tonight's program. Thank you for joining us here this evening. And on your way home, please drive carefully. Full card simulcasting tomorrow. Gates open at 12. Free parking and admission. Live post.